Welcome everyone and thank you for joining me. Today I'd like to touch upon a phenomenal scent of the late 2000s. It was created by perfumer Vero Kern and she was at the helm of her brand Vero Profumo. Vero Kern was a phenomenal woman, a real sassy septuagenarian, one that had a keen sensitivity to tradition, one who loved art, music, culture, fashion, and in fact the reason I've chosen this poster in the backdrop is it looked quite a bit like her. Vero had a wonderful joie de vivre and she approached her perfumery with a meticulous kind of sensitivity to the perfumes that had gone before. She spent a lot of time visiting the Osmothèque in Versailles, and for those of you who aren't aware, the Osmothèque is effectively a Noah's Ark full of perfumes of all ages. So people will go in there to experience some of the lost greats, those that we can no longer find. And perfumers actually visit so they can look at construction of perfumes and see how on a molecular level they work. So Vero used to go there and particularly like exploring the perfumes of the early 20th century. She loved that whole kind of opulent golden age in perfumery where a lot of natural accords were used and they were just bolstered by some or very few synthetic accords. So she used this idea as she approached her own perfumes, and in around 2009 she created Onda. And Onda for me is the jewel in Vero's crown, I suppose. Onda has a sensational feel to it. It feels very vintage, but in an opulent kind of way. It feels resolutely Art Deco. It has a similar kind of wistful solemnness as perhaps Vol de Nuit by Guerlain. And for that reason, it's one that I really, really love and adore. It's packaged in a bottle which Vero chose from molds from the 1940s. And she went to a place in Normandy, a family business who create perfume bottles. They've been doing so for the last 100 years. And she chose this particular mold, and I believe it was originally used for an Elizabeth Arden perfume called On Dit, which was an Edmund Rudnitska perfume. So Vero's attention to detail was second to none. The perfume itself though, we don't have a really big olfactory pyramid to reference because she didn't speak a lot about the components in her perfumes. But what we do know is that Onda contains ginger, vetiver, and it's a wonderful kind of dry vetiver, a little bit akin to what we see in perhaps Guerlain Jedi or Jedi. There's also coriander and nutmeg. So Onda has a wonderful kind of rich, complex, spicy woodiness, a dryness that is beautiful, but it just feels like it belongs on, the décolletage of a flapper. One of those wonderful women who were dancing in those jazz halls back in the early 20th century. It is an abstract of that whole Art Deco age, and Onda for me is spectacular. When Vero first launched Onda and her other perfumes, she actually launched them in extract concentration, which at the time was quite unheard of. Launching into the market with pure parfums was really something quite different. And it was the extract of Onda which really harnessed the love and the minds and the hearts of many people. Since then, she went on to release an eau de parfum version, which is quite different. It sort of trains its focus more on maybe fruity notes of sort of pineapple or passion fruit. And she also created a voile d'extrait, which is this one here. The voile d'extrait is the closest to the pure parfum version that Vero first released. Unfortunately, Vero passed away a few years ago, and the perfume world met that news with a very heavy heart. She was just one of those women who we thought would be around forever. And her love and happiness was infectious. She used to distribute her perfumes through CAMPOMARZIO70 in Rome, and they are now carrying the torch for Vero and have continued to produce her perfumes according to original formulas moving forward. They have packaged her perfumes beautifully, and I feel that they really do have her best interests still at heart, and the brand couldn't be in safer hands. So if you have fallen for any of Vero's perfumes and you thought perhaps they were lost to time with her passing, you'll be mistaken. I'll put a link in the description below where you can purchase her fragrances online, and as I believe they do ship internationally. Anyway, I would love to hear your comments. Have you tried Onda, or do you have another favorite Vero fragrance which has stolen your heart? Let me know in the comments below. And I would love it if you would share or subscribe to the channel so you will be advised when I upload new material. Thank you for joining me today and indulging me so I can talk about one of my favorite fragrances of all time. Vero really did create something special. Until next time, we'll speak soon. Bye now.